All right, we're recording.
All right, Doug. I've been doing this series on my blog every Friday. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Attention to Detail.
Attention to
And
detail.
you're up next. So I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked everyone else, only you're not allowed to copy their answers. Your answers have to be about you, okay?
Great. And these other people all wrote their answers, right? Am I the only one so far to do a video response?
You're the only one who has broke the rules and insisted on a video response.
I thought I made opened up new vistas.
Yeah,
Not
you
maybe.
cast vision to something big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's your first question. What are you
Ready?
reading right now?
What am I reading right now?
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Books, websites,
Great.
magazines, backs of cans.
I read. I'm reading a lot of nutritional facts on things that I eat,
I believe that.
which is new for me. I lost a bunch of weight like 18 months ago and started running. So now I think a lot about that. Probably too much. I might have a little, as the people in Emily's place like to say, maybe an unhealthy relationship with food. Uh,
I like when people confess things. That's great.
yeah. So anyway, that might be the case. Um, and I read little magazines like runners magazines because I'm a nerd in that way now, and I read Scientific America, so I read sciencey magazines,
Okay.
and I read books, listen to books about culture things, politics, and science. So there's this really great book that I'm listening to, just finished, called Abundance. That the future is better than you might think,
Mm-hmm.
which is really captures my sort of sensibilities about the world, and a book called The Trouble of Physics, and so
Yeah.
and then I read books. I read books that people parts of books and websites for people who send me things to have profiled on my radio show.
So you just browse it. Yeah, I'll endorse it. No, I won't.
Yeah, like very often it's this probably bad for someone who writes books and then gets asked to do endorsements. I find myself endorsing the author
Yeah,
more than endorsing the book.
that makes sense.
So like I don't always have I don't always make the choice to free up the time to read the entire book or to read enough of it. So I'll read a couple parts and kind of get their feel and know them and then say good things about them because they're
Yeah.
so.
So when
Um,
I see Doug Pagitt's name on the back of a book, I should assume Doug likes this person.
yeah.
Okay.
Or Doug somehow thinks that that person's audience would be of benefit to him, so he wanted to put his name on their book. That's the other thing that people don't tell the truth about when they do endorsements. Very often they're thinking about, oh, if someone buys that person's book, they should know about me, so I should write the endorsement. Isn't that
Yeah.
sad? I don't think I do that very often, but I think maybe on occasion.
Yeah. It's a tricky industry, Doug.
It's not always what you think it is.
That's right. So your interview is going to be longer than everyone else's. Does that make you feel special?
Um, no one makes me do anything. No,
Oh,
yeah, no, it very much makes me feel special. I feel
okay.
very special about that. Yeah.
Next question is what are you listening to? And again,
You.
it can be anything. Music, MP3s, books.
I'm listening to you. I listen to. I've got a new little band that I've got a bit of a crush on called Fitz and the Tantrums. Oh man, yeah, I'm really into them right now. Um, and I listened to. So just now, I was getting ready to go out for a run, and I'll tell you how it is. I pulled up my iPod to take on the run with me, and I have four podcasts on there that I listen to all the time. That would tell you a lot about a guy, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Like
a lot of
what
NPR on there, I
like
believe.
what podcast does a guy listen to? Yeah, there's a lot of NPR, like maybe all of it. So I listen to Planet Money. I listen to Talk of the Nation just on Wednesdays for the political junkie because I like the political stuff. And I listen to Radio Lab and This American Life on my runs. Um, and I watch. I kind of nerd out on like culture and political stuff, so I watch those shows on television, on the internet, and so.
And if it wasn't sleeting in Minneapolis in May, you would be running listening to those right now.
Right this second.
Not talking.
If the sleet stops right now, I'm going to go on a 4 hour run,
Okay.
which is really bad because I won't. That means I won't get back till dark, after dark.
You're committed.
No,
Most
it's
people,
beyond commitment. It's something else. I don't know what it is. It's very curious. This running.
yeah. I thought
Um,
the nice word was committed.
yeah, instead of obsessive or something.
Tell everybody how many miles you just ran in your last race.
Oh, I don't like talking about it. Okay, I ran a 50-mile race, 50. Started in Sacramento, California, and finished in Auburn. And it's called the American River 50. So it's one of those ultra marathons.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great day, one of the best days of my life. And I loved every minute of it. It was a month ago now, and I long for it every day.
And you're gonna do a 24-hour run.
So now I'm like hunting around. Now I'm like,
What's a
I'm
bigger
like
race?
a running addict crawling around on the trails trying to find another run somewhere. So I'm going to do a 24-hour run, which is a different kind of run. Rather than setting a distance and seeing how fast you can run that distance, it's a set time and you go at whatever pace you want to go at. Some people walk, some people lay down and take a nap, some people go off to a wedding in the middle of the afternoon and come back. So it's not like if you stop running, you're out. It's not like a
Okay.
dance competition or something from the 50s. It's just amount of time, and you run around a single lake, which is like 2.5 miles around,
Mm-hmm.
and you run around that lake for 24 hours. Yeah,
Round and round.
which is apparently I haven't done this before. The longest I've ever run in one outing is 11 hours. So I don't know what it's going to be like to double that.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I don't know either. So let me know.
Yeah, it's a curious thing. And that was actually triggered because I read a book, listened to it actually. I like audiobooks. So I listened to a book called Born to Run and became convinced that human beings are running animals. So we're
And I
designed and born to run. So I've been trying that for a year here. I'm kind of into it.
So, what are you watching on TV? That's the
Mm,
next one.
oh, um,
Documentaries about running,
no,
science and politics.
no, maybe a little bit. Yeah, and I watch some serial television. I'm a big TV fan. I think TV is really great. And I think when TV shows are done right, it's a terrific medium for important things. Which is why I can't, why I have a moral objection to The Bachelor and to nearly all of those shows like that because I think it's too great of a medium. Like I'm like I'm like
They're wasting it.
I'm like the priest in the temple who thinks that people are defiling the temple.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
good that you have some objections to something. You're the conservative when it comes to reality TV.
oh, I'm a total yes,
Yeah.
totally orthodox
So
when it comes to
square.
that. Yeah. Um, but I watch a lot of the shows that are sort of typical for people to watch on the cable through the cable channels, AMC and those things. So I watch, you know, Breaking Bad and Mad Men and Walking Dead and all that. The
What about
stuff that's
movies?
all in the same set. Yeah, I don't know. I like Lincoln.
Lincoln, you
Um,
liked it?
yeah, I feel like movies aren't as interesting to me right now as long serial television shows that carry a story over 6 or 9 months and maybe over 3 or 4 years. It's a different way to think on a storyline rather than in a 2.5 hour or maybe 2 hours and then a follow-up sequel or something like that. I think that says something about not just about movies and television either. I think it says something about culture and where some of us find ourselves wanting our entertainment to shape our vision of how we see the world.
Yeah.
So I think there's something interesting there.
All right. I'll buy that.
Hmm.
What about where are you going coming up? Anywhere. Could be there in Minneapolis. Could be far away places.
Yeah, I'm going to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know if you've heard of
You
that
are?
place. I am on
What?
June 9th.
Thanks
I'm
for telling me. I'm
I'm
here.
I'm going to be speaking at a church called Mars Hill.
Heard of it.
And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to, I think, go to Bangkok in October,
Okay.
and some other, kind of fun places. A lot of people like Bangkok. They'd love to go to Thailand. I'm not one of those people, so I'm going anyway. I know, isn't it?
Nice.
I know, isn't it funny? Like I want to go almost anywhere in the world. My wife really wants to go to Thailand, and I'm like, I don't know.
Is Shelly going?
No, she, she,
You're going without her.
yeah, and that hasn't really soaked in yet. I don't think that's probably
Yeah.
going to be that way. So
Poor
she's
Shelly.
not mad at me yet, but she will be.
Bring her presents.
It's because I
Um,
don't see. It's because I don't like curry. This is what it all roots out of. And
So it's about the food that will be available at the location.
Apparently, I don't really know. Like a lot of us, we don't know why we like things and don't like things. We tell ourselves a story and we tell other people a better story about why we do or don't like things. But you know, I, it comes out of a lot of reasons that people can't really
Well, I'm
figure
good.
out. I
You're
guess.
admitting though it comes from curry.
Well,
That's
that's why I don't want to go there. I don't know if that's why I don't know if that's the root of it. That's just what comes to my mind. But I'm not going to blame it on the curry.
there might be something beyond curry.
It, maybe.
We'll investigate that in a different podcast.
And you know what? People don't let you not like curry, by the way.
Really,
Yeah. There's a couple things you don't get to not like. Dogs.
is one of them.
There are people that won't
Really,
let you not like dogs, and there's people that won't let you not like curry. A lot of people.
people feel like it's like you're culturally shallow if you don't like curry. Is that the idea?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what their motivation. I just know how it comes at me, which is, well, you haven't had good curry. You need to have curry at my curry place, and then you'd like curry. Like people really, truly like believe deep down, you just have not yet experienced the glory of the curry, or you would like it. Yeah, there's a few things that fall into like this religious component for people where their experience and love of something is so deep they can't empathize with someone for whom that's not desirable, right? Like it's how a lot of religious people think about atheists. They think like, yeah, well, you're not really an atheist because there are none in foxholes, this kind of thing. Or if you had a good experience with God, then so really all we need to do is give you a better experience. It's terribly maddening to the atheist, by the way. I'm
So
not I'm
tell
not one
me,
of those, but I've heard those. But I'm a curry atheist, perhaps.
yeah, I was just gonna say that a conservative reality TV person, and yeah, an atheist
Uh,
when it comes to cooking.
like there are
Well,
whole people
you
that are
really
like,
exist though.
there's a guy I'm not inviting over on Thursday night. He doesn't like reality television and won't have curry with us. There's people that have bachelor curry parties.
I've heard things about you, but I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Okay.
All right, who are you gonna go with? You're not going with Shelly to Bangkok, but
Oh,
who would I typically find you with? I just dropped in to Minneapolis,
great question.
as I'm going to in June.
If you were to drop into Minneapolis, you'd find me with people from Solomon's Porch, which is the church that I'm a part of. And you'd find, what else would you find me with? Um, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I haven't thought about my life in that way. Um, you know, I think that might be it.
Running partners?
It's the thing about runners. They go alone a lot. So I'm not in any running groups or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
You post on Facebook sometimes, though, right?
that I'm in a running group.
No, no, that like, hey, I'm going for a run. Anyone
Yeah,
want to go?
I do it all the time.
Yeah,
You
I usually
you know how many
keep
people have
up.
gone with me?
I live in Michigan.
Yeah. You you want to know how many people have gone with me? Zero. Nobody ever wants to go with me.
Someone run. I'm gonna start a sneak campaign on Kickstarter. I'm looking for someone to run with
I don't want them to. I
Okay.
think I'm sending off these kinds of messages. This
Yeah, like,
this
come
thing.
here, come here. Wait, no
Get
one's
away,
gonna
get away.
too close.
Yeah, no, nobody ever goes. I always invite people, but I was running. I was doing a lot of that in the winter, and nobody wants to run in the winter. So
That's true.
maybe if spring comes around July or August, there'll be some people that
Okay.
will go.
What about cooking? Do you cook?
I don't cook. I
No.
don't like to cook. It's debatable if I like to eat. I think so. I don't like cleaning up. I don't like thinking about the food. I don't like shopping for it.
Huh.
All the things that people love about it, I don't like any of those things.
Nothing. Is there any redeeming quality about food?
Oh, I think it's tasty and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, I don't dislike food, but I don't have that kind of like craving for things. Like sometimes, like I want pizza or whatever, just because I think every human being, does. Um, yeah, like I'm a total buzzkill for that kind of like foodie crowd.
Yeah.
I go to the foodie restaurants because
Right.
we have them all over Minneapolis, and they're kind of a
Uh-huh.
big deal, and I'm impressed by them. But the idea of like biting into some food and then thinking about the taste and dissecting it in conversation about, what the ingredients are and how they decided to roast the whatever, whatever. Wow. Yeah.
You're kind of basic. I don't like curry. I like curry kinds of statements to make about food.
No, I don't know. I like it. It's fine. I just don't do the whole. I don't know if people would know what I'm talking about, but there's a culture in which, like, I'm not a simpleton or anything. It's not like I only like mashed potatoes. Um, but the idea that like you'd pull food apart in your eating experience and then, um, you know, talk about it and try to replace it and ask what's in it and write it down and see if you can get the recipe and then go to the store and buy it and try to make it at home and then maybe not succeed at a recipe and read it, like the things that people love about cooking and do so well and are so good at. I'm totally um, I'm totally ignorant about all that. I don't.
Happy to let them love it.
Very happy to let them love it.
So you do have like meals sometimes for Solomon's Porch, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't cook anything. I have a good friend who was single. Now he's not, but in his like condominium, when he had lived there 4 years, opened up his refrigerator, and I'm not kidding. He still had the little like efficiency, tag hanging there that says like how many watts it takes to run the refrigerator. Still hanging there, and the only thing in the refrigerator were batteries because he keeps them fresh. Like he has no food in his house. He never cooked in his kitchen. Like he's just like, I don't cook. Like maybe I'll have a little. I think he might have a thing of milk in there, and that was it. On that particular day, not even any yogurt. Like nothing. There are no ingredients in the house. The stove hadn't been used. I'm like,
so is
that's
that like
glorious.
The story that is a metaphor for you? Is the person's name in the story Doug?
No, I wish it was. His name is Dave. No, but he was like my hero. I was like, oh, see. How does he get to live? How does he get to live like that?
Well, thankfully, Shelley keeps your cupboard stocked, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she's a terrific cook and a deep foodie and understands all that well and enjoy.
You're off the hook.
Yeah. No, you're not, because when you love someone, you're often not allowed to not love the things that person loves, depending on what those things are, right? So there's like every relationship negotiates that out. Mm-hmm. The fact that I'm not into food at such a deep level, I think bugs her. Yeah. So.
Or Thailand.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm starting to sound like an appeal. I would go anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, I'm going to Thailand, right? So that tells you something about the smugness of the creator God.
The way it works.
Yeah.
All right, let's do your bio.
Okay.
At the end, I'm going to say Doug Pagitt is, and then you say any sentence that comes to mind.
Wow.
Okay.
Ready, set.
Doug Pagitt is
the pastor at Solomon's Porch. Am I just doing one, or am I?
Well, how
just
about let's add? He's also the author of.
Oh, okay. And he's also the author of 7 books.
Nice.
None of which have hit the New York Times bestseller list yet. Yeah. Soon to be, which is something that people don't. If you just put in real small print on your promotional stuff, soon to be New York Times bestselling author.
Like size 1 font.
Yeah, and then the really big New York Times bestselling. Yeah, or never has been New York Times bestselling author. So Doug Pagitt is soon to be.
7 books and a podcast. Where do they find?
I do a radio show that's also available as a podcast. Yep, and it's at DougPagitRadio.com or at DougPagitt.com, and you click on the media tab. So I do a weekly radio show. And the difference between a radio show and a podcast, in my mind, at least as we do it, is the radio show starts and runs and records live. So there's no editing, there's no stopping, there's no playing with it. It's live radio.
Well, I take back that I called it a podcast.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's also available as a podcast. So it is a podcast in the sense that it exists. And some podcasts, some radio shows are edited and then played as radio. So it's It's maybe a difference without a distinction, or a distinction without a difference. I don't know. But I do it as a radio show, I call it. So
Yeah.
like it has a definitive starting time, and people call in, and like it's got those kinds of features to it. So it's Thursdays in the broadcasting live out of the Twin Cities and around the world, and maybe even on the space station.
At what time?
Religious radio, that's not quite right. 10 to 11:30 a.m. Central Time, like
Nice.
PagittRadio.com. See?
Is
That's
Victoria
it.
still playing co-host right
I
now?
have I've had sidekicks, and currently Victoria is a sidekick, and yeah, so she does co-hosting and partnering on the show, and she's sliding into some producer work,
I can see her doing that. Look out.
which means she lines up guests and talks to people and helps think about the content of the show, and yeah.
All up to
I love it.
here.
I love it. If I could do live radio 5 days a week, I think I would. Like if I could have a radio show on wherever, like if I could fund my life via a radio show, I think I would do that.
'Cause you have a studio, right? In
I
your
have a
house?
studio in my house.
So if I could do it every day, it's almost like today. It's here, right?
It's almost like a guy could do it every day if
If you
he.
stopped running 100 miles a day.
It's like,
Squeeze that in.
yeah, like I would really like to be a nice guy. If I could just figure that out, I should totally do that.
Maybe when you're like too old to run 100 miles a day, you could run a radio show.
Yeah, then and only then. I mean, I think any radio show host worth his salt should have already run 100 miles in 24 hours. I mean, why else would you be doing a radio show? Who do you think you are?
That's a prerequisite. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I do an internet radio show, and I say to everyone, including Sarah Cunningham, you should do a radio show.
I should.
You should.
Okay.
And if you do, give it a try at this. I use this interface called Spreaker, Spreaker, like speaker and spreading. That's a bad mashup, but it's called Spreaker, and it's free, and you can pay for features if you want. But then you just click, and it lets you broadcast live right then. People can listen live. It records it for you, posts it for you. It's all ready to go. You should do it
That's in my future. The inspiration was right now.
today. You should
Yeah.
get done with this. Click on Spreaker.com and broadcast live.
When I put this interview up, I'm sure that their website will be overloaded
I should let them know.
with new radio shows next Friday.
Yeah, Spreaker.com. Look out.
All right, thanks for coming, Doug.
You are welcome.
Interview thing.
All right. Can I ask you a question? Can I turn the tables,
Oh,
as
that's
they say?
surprising. Breaking the rules again, huh?
Um,
Oh, I thought like someone was going to be sitting there.
no, I was trying to turn the tables.
Okay.
Tell me about why you do this feature on Fridays on your blog.
Well, I just think I really enjoy the times I have sometimes to sit down with people like yourself who you might hear on a stage at a conference.
Mm-hmm.
You hear their stick, their spiel, whatever their book's about, but you don't always get a sense for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think with you, maybe you get a little more sense, but with a lot of people, you don't. And so I've just always enjoyed sitting down, having a coffee,
Mm-hmm.
hearing what makes them tick, what they watched last night on TV, as well as their deepest causes they're most passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for letting me be part of that.
Yeah, making you more human, Doug.
Websites, making people more human.
That's right. Are you going out? Is it sleeting now, or?
I'm going. I think I'm going to go. I've got my clothes on. I got to go make a couple of sandwiches, and I think I'm going to go.
Wow.
And it's been. I've been fighting myself all day. I've been trying to go since 11 o'clock and been putting it off, and now I'm battling a quitter narrative. So I've got to. I got to make a decision here. Yeah, like if I go out and I'm being pelted by sleet. Or by heavy rain, if I'm really going to be wet, because it's only like 37 degrees outside right now. Like it's right. So like, why am I even thinking? Yeah.
Yeah. That would take longer to process than we have, unfortunately.
Hey, I think I'm sitting in front of a brown leatherish couch, and I think you are too.
I am. This one, was purchased purely because I have two boys, 4 years old and 9 months old. And boys, they get a lot of like, sticky, teething,
Yes.
slobbery, snotty. So just wipe it down.
Yep.
It's simulated leather, Doug. It's
It
not even real.
no, and it shouldn't be because I'll tell you, we bought a leather couch, and
Did
our
that.
children are now older, but we've had this couch for like I don't know, 12 years or 14 years or something crazy, and so our kids are now 19, 21, 22, and 23. Um, and your children will ruin everything you own.
Right.
They will
You might as
ruin
well
it
keep this couch 20 years.
or lose it.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Well, Godspeed on your run.
good luck and may you have more children.
You and my parents can wish. All right. See you later,
All
Doug.
right. See you down the road.
Yeah.
Stuff runners say.